Hi, I'm Jill Monroe, a member of AAFCA. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Karen Pittman and Nicole Beharie from the morning show, the Apple TV Plus series. I'm going to introduce you to the AAFCA members on the call before we get started. First up, we have Nick Hamilton in Los Angeles, Karan Lawar Kelly in Virginia, Charlottesville. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Tatiana Abelianos in New York. Yes, okay. Your Chambers, Evan Jackson, Dana Abercrombie.
I'm a firm believer in second chances. Maybe this is an opportunity to make it right.
Sick of all these people talking.
This is a reset. A different company, a different culture.
Tired of all these cameras flashing.
We promised real change. To push the stories we cared about.
People need to feel that UBN is going to have it first, and they're going to have it right.
A nice idea. But it's not sexy.
I'm headed straight for the castle.
Oh, it's Lady Guillotine. How many heads rolled today?
Do you know how badly I wish I could fire you?
I'm working on a story. UBA was involved in a cover-up. People died. Work with me.
You pitched UBN as a feminist utopia where women lift each other up?
Is that Alex Levy causing trouble again?
It sounds like the drama at the network is juicier than the drama on the network.
I need what do you have on Stella?
We've got rats in a basement. That should be more comfortable for you.
See, this is what I miss.
To get what you want, you need to burn the house down.
I know what I deserve, and it's my time now.
So what is that, some kind of a threat?
I'm headed straight for the castle.
I'm shutting the story down.
I have to do this whether you like it or not.
Do you realize what you've done?
Someone's really trying to set me up.
Dig. Find out where the bodies are buried.
Headed straight for the castle.
The truth is incendiary, and it's under attack.
What's going on?
Isn't that why you did all of this? The cleaning of house to make this place better?
You can't clean a house if you're about to blow it up.
Good morning, ladies. Thank you all for doing this. Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. Wanted to ask you both, obviously, the success of the show continues to grow and evolve, and you guys are getting more and more, fans and viewers. But for you two specifically and your characters, how have you seen your characters grow and develop, and how important is it to have a Black woman representation in media primarily?
For me, when I've only been in one season, and this is a gift of a second season. For me, initially signing on, I thought that she was just going to be sort of at the teacup, having fun, bright colors, just in addition to the morning show, the actual morning show on TMS. But the minute that I became a part of this thing and was woven into the fray, I realized that chaos and depth is like a big part of the storytelling here, and like a genuine questioning of sort of the human experience in the workplace and outside of it. And for me, this season, it's been a great deal about loss, legacy, and love. And I think in this particular space, as a Black woman, as a woman who also works in a variety of different spaces with all walks of life, I can relate to Chris. I feel like Chris is speaking to a lot of different people, but it's not necessarily just about the Black experience, if that makes sense. That's why the audience has been so drawn to the show, and I think feels what we're bringing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I also want to agree with that. I think it's great to be on a show with so many different actors, including Nicole. And the hard part, I guess, is finding enough meat on the bone for us as actors to all invest season after season coming to the show and think the writers do an incredible job of that. I think if there are audience members that find meaning in the way that we represent African American in television news media, that's obviously a plus. But the goal, obviously, is to tell a great story and to do the thing that, for me, to do the thing that I love to do, which is to act, to be an artist, do it at the highest level with collaborators that I respect and admire, and with actors and actresses that I think we challenge each other, we raise each other's game. Certainly do that in season 4. I have a lot of wonderful scenes with Nicole.
With everybody.
With everyone, but as African American women, it was such a boon for me to have her in the cast. She came in season 3 and really knocked it out of the park, and fortunate to be nominated for an Emmy with her and with Greta Lee and in Holland. So it's been an extraordinary journey on the show, and I can't wait for your audience and your fellow colleagues to see season 4. Gonna love it.
Absolutely. You guys are fantastic. I can't wait for season 4 in September, this September.
Thank you, Nick.
Hello, Karan Lenoir Kelly with Love Music Pleasure and Karanism.com. Y'all, I was really super excited. First of all, Nicole, you coming to the cast was a brilliant move. And Karen, the great Karen Pittman, as usual. I love the fact that when you say to have enough meat on the bone, we get to see these women evolve in love and in their careers and start to make different choices. What can you tell us about your character's evolution throughout season 4?
Well, I think you'll see Mia go to loggerheads with a lot of different people on the show. But mostly you see women in real conversations where they have conflict and they're trying to resolve that conflict. I've, again, it's profoundly meaningful for me to be on a show with a lot of different women. I've invested greatly in the conversations around Stella Bach and Mia Jordan, a Korean American woman and African American woman, lifting each other up and trying to make inroads into television news industry and legacy media. So invested in conversations with Chris Hunter and elevating her on the morning show. And of course, with Alex Levy. And you'll see all of us weave in and out of each other's character arcs in ways that are meaningful and important. Again, kudos to the writers who do a great job. So, so thanks for that question, Karan.
Oh, and then for me, I suppose it's I think the changes that sometimes, especially with a workplace drama like this, it can feel like, and after last season, Chris is a hardcore person. And I think in this season, by the time you get to the end of it, you realize she's a heartcore person. You can sort of get to the center of her, the tenderness and what's been driving her and what are the sort of secrets and sacrifices to being the person that she is. So that was kind of the movement for me. And it's a gift.
It's really exciting to see how nuanced the characters are as they become the women that they are becoming in these new roles. So thank you for brilliant performances. I think everybody's going to love season 4.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Tatiana with Medium Popcorn Podcast, and my question is for Ms. Karen Pittman.
I love that medium popcorn. You just need medium, baby.
It's just enough. It's just enough.
Just enough.
Thank you. Your character, Mia, has been on the show since the very beginning. And so I'm curious to learn, with all the things between the Me Too, COVID, I have seen a bit of new season 4, so I don't want to spoil anything else. How have you personally prepared yourself to be Mia each season, given the new theme that is introduced?
It's really, I mean, Nicole called it a gift. It really is. You're working with writers, producers, cinematographers, camera people costume designers who bring their A game, and you just want to stay elevated. It's such an extraordinary task to bring a television show to an audience, to do it for 1 or 2 seasons, 3 seasons, but for 4 seasons to keep doing it well is really an extraordinary effort. So I would say that I just am so gifted to keep all these people around me who are investing and engaging with the characters, investing and engaging in the stories. I mean, we bring on incredible actors every season, one of which was Nicole Beharie last season, but also Jeremy Irons and Marion Cotillard and, Aaron Pierre, the cutie, but also an extraordinary actor, recent Emmy winner for Rebel Ridge. And so we're just really, as an actor, I'm very gifted to be in the company of the actors and the artists that I am. That's where I am able to keep bringing it forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that question.
Hi, Evan Jackson of Young, Bold, and Regal. A question for Nicole. How did you feel about the fan reaction of the viral clip last year between you and Holland Taylor on the couch? And it was amazing. I was just reading the YouTube comments, people saying, "You're a hero. This is how I felt. This is your Emmy moment," which was. Speak more about that, please.
I don't know. How do I? Well, I was caught off guard. We just go to work. We're just working, and I'm not really a social media person. I'm not as engaged as I probably should be, just because I think it can mess with your perspective a little bit. So when that happened, I think I was on like a plane when the episode aired, and I was like, "Oh, people are calling me. Why are they calling me? What's happening?" I think it speaks to the writing. I think it speaks to the staff. I think it speaks to the bravery of the people on this show, of what the morning show is all about, talking about things that are going on with women, with people of color, with the workplace in a way that like no one else has. And I think it takes some real cojones to do as much, and people just sort of resonated with that. And then for me, it was cathartic as well to sort of get to face off with someone in that way. So I felt like that people could feel that, and there's nothing better as an actor. I want to like take a little sidebar though about this season, because I've been a fan of the show for for the entire lifetime of the show, and I've been watching this woman, and I feel like this is a very special season. Back to your question about how do you prepare every year, it's interesting to see that the show really is growing and seeing what the actors and seeing with how the world is changing and changing with it. And I'm really excited for specifically this audience to see what happens with Mia this year.
Yeah.
Because I'm happy about it. I was like, oh, finally.
Of your seat is where you're going to be.
I don't know if y'all have seen all of it, but, I have to give all the love to Karen because she's beautiful.
Thank you
so beautiful.
Much. That's Mutual Admiration Society.
Yeah, and thank you, ladies, and for both of you, respectively, on social media. People absolutely love you guys in every role you do, especially these roles. They're fan casting you and everything as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Jill Monroe, KBLA Talk 1580. So in season 4, there are AI, deepfakes, conspiracy theories, podcast bros. How do these two characters stay grounded in a world where it seems like nothing can be trusted? And how do they kind of further their relationship under those circumstances?
I think it's such a great question. There's so many things that throw us for a loop, socially, politically. I think one of the things that I have found has been true for Mia and also true for me is you stay connected to your personal moral compass, right? You stay connected to your integrity. And that's essentially what Mia has done for the last 3 seasons, even as the winds of change have moved around her. And try to stay focused on what it is that she's really meant to do. So it's an interesting journey amidst all of the sense of betrayal and the challenges that she has in season 4 to keep her centered on what helps her be a good person and do the thing that she needs to do every day. And We see that unfold with Chris. We see it unfold with Stella Bach. We also see it unfold with Alex Levy and Bradley Jackson. So in the midst of it all, just try to stay grounded in your own personal truths, I think, in my mind.
I don't know that Chris does as well, because some of her fame and her currency actually is anchored in social media and anchored in her personality. She came into this field from sort of a different angle. So there's a lot more weight on it for her, and she's actually in real time navigating what that means. I think it's especially in this season.
Thank you.
Thanks for that question, Jill.
Yeah, it was a great one.
Hi, Nigel Chambers from Big O Belt Media. So this UBA crew is family, and we know family can be complicated, but they truly have been through any and everything together, and even so much more this season. I'm curious about, why is it that the humanity and the empathy disappears between certain characters when they know each other's struggles? I mean, because this season does handle a lot of tough moments, and whether it's Chris happened to be brutally honest about something, or Mia happened to hear the true honesty behind something. But why, when it comes down to those conversations between each other, it just seems to be very corporate at times. And if I can really iron on the scene, there was a scene where Chris is really handling work-life balance, and Mia's like, so you telling me you just wasted our time? And it's like, but she's trying to explain, like, she's a mother. She's trying to work these things out. She's trying to navigate doing both and being present for her kid. But it just seems like, again, more and more times in this season, the conversation, humanity and empathy just seems to not be existent. How come that's the case?
Yeah, I mean, I think that at some point, it's important to show in the storytelling where characters are flawed, but I also think it's important to demonstrate where they might redeem themselves. Of course, it's up to the audience whether or not they extend grace towards them, but you do find these areas where, Mia is not empathetic or sympathetic, but you find her coming back and asking for forgiveness. And Chris extends some grace to her, and you see same thing with Chris. And she asks for forgiveness, and grace is extended to her. So I think that's part of the human condition, something that we love to chronicle on the morning show because it's a drama. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I think I'm grateful to have writers who understand that not only do you put characters over time in antagonistic spaces, but you also allow them to redeem themselves later on. As an actor, that's the kind of work you want to do.
Yeah, and I guess for me, it's I don't know that it's just viciousness. I sort of have a different perspective about it. I feel like it's the drama's responsibility to present everyone's passage, everyone's walk and perspective and priorities with a great deal of dignity and integrity, and they're going to clash. And we actually love to watch everyone's perspective clash. And then we see like what we can muster up, what we can savor, and where we go with all the disparate parts. And I think that's what's really exciting. Yeah, that's my take on it. Yeah.
That makes the drama.
That makes life. Life.
Thank you for the answers.
Thank you. Thanks for that question.
Hi, Dana Abercrombie, the Coalition. Questions for both of you, kind of to piggyback off the previous question. There's a moment of kind of isolation where both of the characters feel like they're not being heard. And so I wanted to talk about kind of when is that balance of not being heard and accepting that, and finally pushing through and making sure that your voice, that people demand to hear your voice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the journey. I've said this in another interview. Sometimes being the only African American in the room is an invisible hand on the scale of equality in certain spaces. And I think that that's part of what Mia aims to do until she can't do it anymore, until she decides that it's better for her to leave, or more important for her to, do something different. Similar way with Chris Hunter. But yeah, it's a tricky balance, I think.
Of being heard was the question.
Yeah.
The question was like finding one's voice in those spaces. Yeah, I think that's what the whole thing is about, even from the beginning of the show.
Season 1.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
season 1. Before I was even a part of it, I feel like that's what it's about. We talked about free speech, free press.
Yeah.
That's what we're constantly pressing up against. It's like, who is being heard? Whose stories matter? Also, what's true? Back to your AI question, you know, and what are the secrets underneath everything? And so I think walking through all of that is hopefully what we're doing with a great deal of humanity and some complication and some complexity. I don't know if that answers it, but I hope so.
It's a real challenge in order to, our job primarily, the reason why it's so tricky is because as an actor, our job primarily is to be entertaining. But because there are so few, there's more. There's less variety of really meaty stories for African Americans, representation, especially now in a hostile political climate. We are hungry for it. We yearn for it. And I felt that not just in my own work on Forever, but I see it in Nicole's incredible work in Love Brooklyn. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. Shout out to all the folks in Love Brooklyn. But
she's so classy.
I think it's important but I really do think it's important around these conversations of representation to know that our job as actors is really just to do these characters justice, to be honest, in their journeys. And if you see yourself in them, it's a gift for us, but we do it to entertain. We do it for the love of it, right? So hopefully you see that in the work that we do as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
That was beautiful.
Once again, Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. You spoke earlier about diversity and having such diverse stories, no matter what the background, no matter what the gender. How are you all able to balance yourselves within these stories between your actual selves and these characters to be able to continue to illuminate these rooms and being able to tell these stories in a way they need to be told?
How do we balance ourselves? Ooh, that's a good one. I think I'm still navigating that in life. I'm always, because also the terrain itself and our business and every job you go to, there's a different environment, a different set of rules, a different ethos in the company. So I'm always figuring that out. But it's also the thing that, although sometimes I actually, and I could admit to this, I get discouraged sometimes when I'm like, I don't have the tools, or I have to find new tools, and I find myself kind of scattering. But ultimately, that's the challenge of the thing. And I end up feeling better when I realize I've grown, whenever I figure out what the tools are. And then they change. And then the hike changes. And I'm like, oh, I can't use this pole anymore. I need new shoes, or I need whatever that is. So yeah. And I think it's a constant thing. But to actually give you some concrete things for the balance for me has been meditation, has been not taking things personally. That's a big one. And letting it go, doing the thing and just letting it go, letting it live, and not picking through it and not expecting anything. Yeah. And just being grateful for the walk.
I think for me, it's really about, linking up with women who are on the same journey with you. That includes Greta Lee, and certainly includes Nicole. There's a gorgeous glamour cover out of us right now. Have you seen that? It's so cute. And thank you, Karan. And you'll see it, and you'll see me holding on to Nicole Beharie's hand. I think it's so important as we journey along together to not forget that our greatest power is when we are standing together, like-minded folks, linking up arms and moving forward together. So I find that balance by keeping fantastic people around me, great people around me.
Absolutely. And that is a great cover with you and Jennifer and
Isn't it so good?
It's awesome. That was a great, whoever came up with that idea was a great idea.
Ever a great idea.
I'm coming with tens, because the cover was fabulous. We talked about representation, and it's really, I feel a kinship to Mia because I used to be a morning show producer, and we don't often see representation behind the camera as much. And right now, with the political climate that we're living in and the press being under attack, has your respect for how the news is delivered and when changed?
Oh, 100%. I think it's very much a challenge to not be affected by it, but I also think it's a sign of the times. I mean, even in season 2, we talked about how we're not getting our news on television anymore. We're getting it from our phone, right? I think it's a journey that we've had over time with the morning show, talking about how television news has changed. We're not just a show chronicling how people get truth or information, but also from whom they get that information, which is more relevant nowadays than ever before. People like Rachel Maddow or Megyn Kelly, or, you know, in our case on the show, Bro. Is that his name?
Yeah, Bro.
Bro on the show. Bro Hartman.
Yeah.
So it's quite a journey to see how television news and news in general has changed. But yes, of course, more than ever, free press matters more than ever.
I love the fact that his name is Bro, and that it addresses bro culture in podcasting, because it really has infiltrated everything. But thank you so much once again. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Tatiana again with Medium Popcorn Podcast. My question is open to both of you, but speaking of representation, I actually turned to Barbie as one of those things that took a while to get there. However, Nicole, your character Christina, has her doll. She's like, has a scene with the Olympics and whatnot. You mentioned, does she come with a power suit? So I'm curious, if you, Nicole and Karen, if you had your Barbie doll, what would it include?
Oh, I kind of like that. Do you know? You already know. I'm like, I don't know.
No.
Oh.
My Barbie doll, oh, well, she would have, 5 different wigs. 'Cause I love wigs. She would have lots of different hairstyles, because I love that. My Barbie doll would drive an SUV, because I have kids.
Fabulous shoes.
And have great shoes. Barbie doll would have a stylist. Ken as her stylist.
Yeah, I don't know. My Barbie doll would have a shovel and because I like gardening and a garden hat. It'd be a boring,
It'd be a garden
fashionless
hat Barbie.
I know, right? Farmer Barbie.
Yeah.
I do have a funny story about that, though. I don't know if you all have ever seen the Thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller, the making of. So rather than being scanned, I got the silicone mold on my face, but the man who was doing it forgot to put Vaseline on my eyelashes. So I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see this mold of my face. And then there's this moment of pulling it off. And I'm like,
yeah.
But it happened. Yeah. So every time I see that Barbie, I'm like, oh, it costs me.
Costs a lot.
My lashes. But it's actually gorgeous. And I get to take it home. And last year it was the last season. I had like a Wheaties box and
the Wheaties box. That was cool.
Those things are fun.
Yeah.
Those things are fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like you had the ultimate facial in the process.
Yes, pores were clean, everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Evan Jackson again with Young, Bold, and Regal. I wanted to ask you two, what did you learn from each other over these past couple seasons?
Nicole has a first of all, working with Nicole is such a gift. I was so happy when they said they're bringing on a new woman on the show, and it was Nicole Beharie. I was like, oh, she's amazing. And one of the biggest gifts is watching Nicole's process. She takes her work very seriously.
Too serious.
Doesn't take herself seriously, but takes the work seriously. And that's really great. I mean, as fun as a morning show is, we're a bunch of really theater nerds coming together to do this show that we all love. And everyone's giving 100%. And it's great to have a little bit of time to walk alongside Nicole, see her in her process, and to be stand across from her and allow her the space and and to get her support back. So that's been
Karen. I think the thing I've learned from you, since we're here, I'm talking to y'all, but the thing I've learned from Karen is, she really takes care of her character and does her work, and it's immaculate.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
But like Mia, I think maybe the playing of Mia, I don't know if it's a Mia thing, but she's also able to see the bird's eye view a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
And seems to be protective of the collective and really empathetic about everyone's part in this thing in a way that I think is it's stunning, because it's it can be difficult navigating all the things. And it's been a testament to me of like, oh wow, she's an adult artist. Like, and she, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I think that there's
from the people that are dressing to, there's a lot of conversations there, and you always give everyone so much love. And I admire that endlessly.
Oh, well,
So,
thank you.
yeah.
We're
And it's
community.
genuine. Yeah.
Community there. It's a
Yeah.
collaborative art, making anything television for sure. It's a collaborative art. And I think we must look after each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. Looking forward to this season 4 of the morning show and to give you more insight on social media. Social media wants to fan cast Nicole you as Storm in Black Panther, the X-Men.
I'm ready.
And then for Karen, a lot of people are rooting for you to play Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris.
Oh, yeah. No, I've heard that. I've heard that. I'm working on it.
Oh,
Working on it.
I love that.
Hi, Jill Monroe again. As you were speaking a bit about what happens this season and where the characters go, and you talked about Celine's entry, she's kind of shaking things up and changing the perspective. And there's a lot about it being not sexy, so to speak. And there's branding issues and all of that this season as far as with certain things that are going on. So what are your thoughts about branding in journalism for the news? Because that is very much the direction of things as we kind of boil it down to how to stand out. You mentioned getting news on your phone. What are your thoughts as far as on the show, but outside of it in real life?
Well, journalism is changing. I mean, we just talked about this, and you guys definitely know how journalism has changed over the last few years. I personally am not great with the idea of how capitalism and corporatism is coming into how we receive our information. If I don't actually watch the interview, I often am waiting for that, opportunity to actually see what people are saying to develop my own understanding of what's happening in our world. And it's difficult. It's as my mother said, it's a trick bag. How we handle it, how we see it.
Yeah. I think we just have to sort of back to the other question, create new skills around how we process information and our discernment. I think that's my take on it, is learn how to read and read between the lines, because everything has a little tilt. Everything has
nowadays.
Yeah, there's some sponsorship underneath
it.
So you don't know what's being left out, for whatever reason. So, it's an interesting place, but I think we're all being asked to look alive and be aware.
Isn't it fascinating how, in many ways, the morning show has chronicled how men have taken over television news and media and journalism, and sort of put their own tinge to it, needed for it to be sexy. And now we have a woman who is in charge of UBN, who is trying to make news sexy. I think it's a fascinating conversation about power and privilege, control. So yeah, but thanks for that question.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate your thorough answers.
Hi, Nigel Chambers, once again from Big O Belt Media. My question is to Karen. So Stella has a wild road this season. And in one of her rock bottom moments, she sends a notice to Mia, And in that message to Mia, it did affirm a lot of affirmations and probably everything Mia already knew about herself at the time, considering all things that Mia goes through in the season. But what I'm curious about, because of what happens with Stella and what comes out about Stella, and probably the judgment around what happened with Stella, what did the tears represent for Mia in that moment of reading that message? And what do she feel Stella's genuine here in this situation?
Well, we've spent a lot of time on the morning show over 2, 3 seasons building up this coalition conversation around a Korean American CEO or a woman who's on her way up and an African American woman who has that same level of ambition and what they're going to do together. And in season 4, there's extraordinary conflict around actually making that happen, around exploring the system that will or will not allow them to make that a reality. Without giving too much away, I think that both of these women end up doing and saying a lot of things that maybe in the moment allows them to survive as individually, but doesn't allow their friendship to continue to move forward. What a joy it was to navigate that scene with Greta Lee, who's one of my favorite scene partners in the world. When I read the episode that you're talking about, where things come to a head, I literally cried. It makes me emotional just to think
It's so
about.
beautiful.
It's a beautiful, beautiful episode.
And earned over the years.
And earned, gosh,
over the
earned it. Yeah,
years.
yeah.
I
So
think
much
that's what's so beautiful is
Yeah.
like you get to live with these characters and you get here and you're like, wow,
Right.
we've been waiting for this moment.
Right. And then, but
You
you also get to you hear the backstory of where Stella lives, how she's been living, how a woman of color, from even before we saw her on the morning show, where Stella Bach has lived. You see the choices that she made to get to where she is in a way that we didn't know. We see that same thing with Chris Hunter and her journey on the show this season. But what a privilege it was to do those scenes with Greta. I mean, some of those scenes were so brutal. Both Greta and I were in tears afterwards. And so the tears at the end of that episode that you're talking about, they're genuine. Just because you can't travel that, just because you can't journey, so sorry. Just because you can't journey on a road with someone doesn't mean that you don't care, right? Doesn't mean that you don't shed that person with a lot of grief attached to it. And I think that Mia is genuinely exploring what it is to navigate in a way that she must.
Yeah.
But also to manage the grief around shedding certain relationships as she makes her way through television news industry, which, by the way, I'm sure all the women on this call, and maybe the men too, understand.
Yeah.
Understand what it is to have to be ruthless in your journey as a woman in this industry. Ruthless.
Thank you so much for that. I was just going to mention the "you not one of us, you never was" moment too, like the arc between these two moments we're talking about.
Yeah, I remember that.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. That was I made that change actually. They were like, shit, the line was maybe you never were. And I was like, no, it has to be you never were, right? There's no maybe about it as far as me is concerned. But yeah.
Hi, Dana Abercrombie, the Coalition. My question is, do you feel that your characters have regrets, or or do they just live for that moment and not think about the past?
Oh, I mean, I feel like this season is about the past knocking on the door, at least for Chris. The past is haunting, it's showing up, it's making noise, it's pulling the rug from underneath all of us. There are definitely regrets, but similar to what Karen was saying, it's the choices that we have to make to survive these spaces. And we're not let off the hook. No one's let off the hook, which is really interesting. Specifically in this season where we see with Greta, we see with Mia, we see it with Alex and
Bradley.
and Bradley and like fades.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's nothing cavalier happening here. I think everyone has to face things, even if they don't take full responsibility for it, you know?
And I think if the overarching theme is about truth, right? That is the
even in the media.
Even in the media,
Yeah,
right?
everything.
I think it is a soldier marching through our characters' lives as well. You're going to face the truth at some point, and you know, Chris has her journey in doing that. Mia takes Alex to task to ask her to do it at some point, and so yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for the shout out.
There he is. Hey,
We appreciate it. And you know, you're sitting next to the very first Best Actress from our organization, like 17 years ago.
Yes.
So,
Saw it 17 years ago, honey.
yeah. So Nicole was won our first Best Actress award, and so it's always good to see her. And we're certainly it's always good seeing you, Karen. And we love this show, and we're certainly looking forward to celebrating you in the years to come.
Well, thank you for having me at the TV Honors this year for forever. That was what a joy to be there with Mara and Anthony and
absolutely. I saw them last night.
Great afternoon.
Yeah. But on behalf of the world's largest group of Black film and TV critics, we thank you for joining us, and we thank you for watching this edition of AAFCA Roundtables.
And thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All of you. Thank you.
Bye.